Okay, good morning, everyone. All of my southeastern colleagues. Really glad you were saved for last. This is my fifth time I've done this presentation. To be the fourth time this week, but this presentation was set up for the big AASHTO meeting and the CEOs, and we really thought we was going to get to show the CEOs in all these states that what Tennessee is benefiting and how Tennessee is benefiting from the NTPEP program. So there was not a big crowd. There was other meetings going on. So Catherine and I put this together to do this at the regional meetings. I'm going to go to a quick presentation on the benefits and how TDOT and QPL and NTPEP data works, and a few other things. But just let me let you know that I'm going to be putting out this. She's recording this presentation, plus I'm going to be putting out our web links to our QPL with all the procedures and how we write NTPEP in there. And that is up for scrutiny from you, but this is the way we do business, and we feel very confident and really excited about this. So let's get started. Of course, you remember I told you I did this for the big annual AASHTO virtual annual meeting and trade fair. So I had to go through explaining a lot what is NTPEP, and of course everybody on this phone knows what NTPEP is, but I was doing this for the CEOs, so we thought they need a little background. Right now, Tennessee DOT has around 3,000 products on a QPL. Guys, 1,500 of those products, or over 1,500 of those products, currently come from NTPEP evaluations. Guess what? We don't have to do that in the lab. That's half of our QPL products, and I'll show you later how really that shows up in our QPL. We don't have to do this. We can concentrate on something else. That's the confidence we have in this program over the years, and it gets better every year. Over 6,000 products evaluated, 1,497 audited facilities. Well, 80 of those facilities are on our producer list, and I'll show you how to get on that. So we are all in on this NTPEP. Of course, I explain to them what data mine is, online for repository, and then I show them also exactly what data mine looked like years ago. And some of you guys on this call have seen a lot of these books. We used to have stacks of them, and instead of clicking on geotextiles or concrete admixtures that you do with data mine, you had to thumb through the pages and look for yourself on this. Guess what? At the time, this worked unbelievable. We loved it. It worked out very, very well. But now we have this online repository at your fingertips, and this is what you get. So really, guys, it's a very, very powerful tool at your fingertips that you can use to look at specs, write your specs around whatever you want to do, and it's pictures, graphs, testing reports, and everything. It's before and after type stuff. It's really, really useful. Guys, it is a partnership. State agencies and industries. So if a state is not accepting NTPEP evaluations and they're doing third-party testing, that industry will not go to NTPEP. But now more states are accepting NTPEP, and the industry is running to us. And that's how it works. The strength of our committees, our technical chairs and vice chairs, and technical committee members. You don't have to be a chair and vice chair to contribute to these product evaluations. A lot of you guys are experts and sitting in the audience, and then a lot of you step up. That's really good. But it is a partnership between state agencies and industry partners, and that's the way it has to work. And it's worked very, very well in the state of Tennessee. This is what I showed our CEO when he first got here about the $20,000 annual contribution and what we get out of that contribution. And I'm getting ready to show you savings, quality, reliability, independent test results. Guess what? Independent test results from all the same place. Now, it may be a contracted lab, but every product goes through that same lab. It works out really well. Everybody's treated the same. sharing the experience and partnering. Partnering with the industry is one of the best things we've ever done, and we figured out a lot of things together, and it works out really well. Let me show you how we handle this in our materials and test division. There's 4 sections of materials and tests. There's soils, there's geotechnical engineering, there's laboratory operations, there's field ops, and there's also research and product evaluation. That's ours. That's who I am, the transportation manager of 40 years. What this section does, we have the qualified products list among 4 or 5 other things that we do pretty heavily. But what I'm getting ready to show you with 4 people, and it doesn't really take 4 people. You got a transportation manager, a senior engineer with 20 years. That's Richard Weber. Most of y'all know him. We have a graduate engineer that his first NTPEP meeting was the virtual, and we have a senior technician that works in the lab. Now, we work with other labs in our division. So we do a lot. We do a lot with our laboratory sections and our field ops sections. But this, the whole NTPEP program, if you'll notice down here in yellow, utilizing the implementing the NTPEP requirements. Guys, that's 25% of what we do. This is a section in our individual performance plans. We have usually 4 to 5 outcomes you have to do within that year. And 25% of what we do is NTPEP. Now, that 25% is covering half of what we have on the QPL, and quite frankly, it reaches out on the audit program way further than that. So just 25% of this little section right here, we handle the utilization of NTPEP requirements. Our graduate engineer covers the whole NTPEP audit program by himself, and I'll show you how that happens. So, guys, this is not rocket science, and it makes us look really, really good to our CEOs and everyone else in our department. We're also participate. We've always participated in NTPEP. Of course, most of y'all know that we used to do delineators and drums. We no longer do the delineators. TTI has taken that over. Richard Weber and Al Wilda has done such a great job continuing that effort with TTI, and I thank them both. We still do the impact and durability testing for the work zone drums. We have also participated in hosting test decks. 2016 and 2017, we hosted the HFTO test decks. Now, previously, before that, Kentucky had the test decks, and hopefully this year, and I'm pretty sure it's a guarantee that Missouri is going to host the 3rd test deck for HFST. I want you to look at something. This is a 3-year evaluation. We do it on asphalt pavement, concrete pavement, and concrete bridge decks. Remember, the concrete bridge decks get a double layer. So the asphalt pavement and concrete pavement for HFST is exactly what it is. The double lift on the concrete bridges is a bridge preservation type program that we use for years, and we're getting ready to start brand new bridges to get this double layer on it, so we don't have to touch it or even think about it for at least 10 to 15 years. So that works out. You see this number right here, this 36? We did 36 sections in the state of Tennessee alone. Kentucky did not quite that many, but there's probably over 45 products. Remember this number, over 45 products that have been evaluated by those 2 test decks, okay? Product evaluation programs to the left and audit programs to the right. Guess what? TDOT has implemented or is in the middle of implementation of every one of them. There's only 2 to 3 that we haven't quite completed completely. And what we do, guys, when we switch from one program, whether it's a specification, whether it's a standard drawing or anything like that, when we go to say, this is how we're going to evaluate these products and we're going to switch to NTPEP, we give about 6 months to a year grace period to get the word out to our road builders, get the word out to contractors and everything that we're going to be in the future accepting only products from the NTPEP program. And that we've always done that. And once we put it in place, we start over from there. And I'll show you some of the effect that has happened to us. If you go to our webpage, and I will be sending this link out to Catherine, when you look at our QPL, this 45 list, you'll see that with the circles over here, you got the procedures for each QPL. Traffic control materials covers pavement marking, snow and RPMs and anything to do with traffic controls. There's several sections inside that. There's the procedures, and then there's the products. What happens is we write the procedures. We say, you know, this is raised and snowplow with reflective pavement markers. We got a NTPEP review down there, if you'll notice, and we have a link so you can go and check everything out. And then we have our procedures and what we say that these products have to meet so we can get them on our QPL list. And what happens after that? Site manager. It goes straight to site manager and populates in each category or each QPL list. This has worked very well. We update the QPL every month. So if products are taken out, removed, or actually placed on, excuse me. Do this for our bid lettings, so we know at the time a contract is let what products are on. Contractors can get their prices and make bids. Guess what though? When that contract goes to project and getting ready to lay, if that product has been removed from the QPL, they have to choose another. So it is kind of a policing type thing. You know, you may make it this month, but you haven't been performing or you didn't recertify or anything like that, you may come off the next month. So that's the way that works. That's why we update it the first of every month. If you'll notice, I'm going to go through these 45 lists, not each and every one of them. I'm just going to talk about a few of them. But everything in red is NTPEP evaluated products. Traffic control materials, I showed you the procedures for that. Structural steel coatings, about 4 or 5 years ago, we used to have it in the spec book, the specs for structural steel coatings, you know, primer, tie coat, and top coat, and we had several products all over the place. Well, we got with our Northeast friends in NTPEP, and they do the NEPCOAT QPL. We accepted that NEPCOAT QPL on all new structures. Now, what we did do for infield corrections and or repainting, we still have a QPL under that. But all new structures have to go through the NEPCOAT QPL. Anything being done brand new. Air and training and chemical admixtures. We work with our field ops that does mixed designs. I don't know about most states, an admixture is not actually a line item. It's in a lump sum with a mixed design. But what happens is we update our field ops mixed design drop-down list with all the admixtures that are approved. And so when the designer comes in and contractor wants to submit a mixed design, he knows what he gets to choose from on his admixtures that are approved in the state. If you'll notice, that's 402. Patching materials alone, good guys. Our guys from Ohio do a really good job with this. We actually have 2 more QPLs that play off just the data, and I've showed this to most of y'all. Just the data from Rapid Set, we've written 2 more QPLs, but you have to go through NTPEP to be able to do that. And one of them is bag mixes for less than 2 yards per day, and the other one is closure pour material. So we're really excited about the data that we actually get from a lot of these NTPEP programs. If you'll look at that data, you'll end up learning a lot about these types of products. Erosion, let me back up one more real quick, sorry. Prepackaged concrete mixes, patching materials. Coatings for concrete is one we're currently trying to develop, and we're going to go full NTPEP when everything gets up and products get more populated. Erosion and prevention and sediment control. The state personnel that's gone to Greenville the last couple of 2 or 3 years ago when we went to the annual meeting, we got to go out there and try environmental and look at the testing. It was unbelievable. And why would we not be doing this and using this? So, and we do. We're all in on it. We're revamping our program now because we're finding out road erosion controls with the nettings is becoming a factor out there in the real world, I guess, close to streams and stuff for the little critters like lizards, snakes, and bugs and all that kind of stuff. So the use of that is becoming really, really restricted. So we're looking at hydraulically applied, which we have on our list, but we're using the NTPEP data and the ECTC factors for both road erosion and hydraulically applied. We're looking at that, and it's worked out well because they're only going to be using NTPEP data to do this. Release compounds for asphalt mixtures. Guys, we used to do all this testing in-house, every bit of it, before Richard Wimmerly in Texas took it over and rewrote it. We did a lot of the tests that they actually performed. But here's the deal. There's only 19 products on this right now, okay? At one time, we had 121, and that was performed by us in the laboratory. We never even get this stuff out anymore. We have NTPEP taking care of everything on our release compounds. And guess what? 19 is a lot easier to choose for a contractor instead of 121. Flashing arrow panels and portable changes message signs. We was in on the very initial work plan on this. Meredith McDermott from North Carolina at the time was really big into this, and we've accepted this from day one. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it in the flashing arrow panel suppliers and message sign suppliers. They all know. And they always ask, why don't y'all do what Tennessee does? Everything's in there, all the procedures, and everything is in place. Everybody plays by the same game. High friction surface treatments. Remember, I told you to remember that number. Over 45 products have been evaluated through NTPEP. Well, look at here, guys. We only have 27 approved. And we break the high friction up in asphalt roadway, concrete roadway. Okay? What's the concrete above grade surfaces? Well, all bridges and all ramps above grade surfaces gets double layer. We're actually considering going back and doing the concrete roadway, if it's just for HFST, still do a double layer. And I'll tell you the reason why. When you do a ramp or a bridge, we've already seen that the asphalt leading up to a ramp, the asphalt leading up to a bridge or whatever that has high friction on it, then we go over and do our bridge overlays. We have found that even on concrete ramps, one layer will wear off a heck of a lot quicker than that double layer. As a matter of fact, we've replaced some of those single layers on concrete ramps with a double layer, and when you look at the bridge, there's never a mark in it because it's always been a double layer. So that's what we do. And of course, asphalt roadway, state routes in our state last normally around 12 years, interstates around 8. So we're always turning that over. But on concrete, we wanted to do double layer, so we'd never have to go out there again. Well, maybe not never, but at least for 10 or 15 years. And it's worked out really well for us. Geotextiles and geosynthetics, we are real big on that, 321 products. If there's a road that comes on our project, we know exactly where that was made. And we actually do a little bit of quality assurance on this. Out of all of those 321 products, we only test the Type 4 that we, through M288, which is getting ready to change because it's been revamped by our friend Scott Hidden, who does a heck of a job. He's done a great job with NTPEP, so we're excited about that. But we do quality assurance. We check the Type 4s, and we have a machine set up to pull them. But other than that, it's all strictly, and you've got to do NTPEP before you can even do that. So it's really paid off. I think we know we were getting not exactly the right stuff in the field before this program. We got to thank Tony Allen from Washington State getting this started about private labels and converters, because guys, they were pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. But we got it now, and it's very, very stable. One Mix Asphalt. We just sent out something for our asphalt release, not asphalt, but asphalt stripping additives that is inside the One Mix Asphalt program. And we just sent out a letter giving them a year to get at least submitted or actually tested by, evaluated, by NTPEP to be on our QPL. We've done boil tests and all this other kind of stuff in our labs for years. We don't want to do that anymore. We've got a third party, NCAT, by the way, which is one of the top labs for asphalt in the world or the country. So why not? Why would we be doing that? And everybody plays by the same game. It's really working out really well. Now, spray applied liners. In 2019, this was put together by our friends in Ohio, Jeff Sire, and a bunch of other people, some of you that are on this call right now. What had happened was our maintenance division was sending us emails wanting to know, do y'all know anything about spray applied liners? You set the maintenance let us set up the slip lining of using plastic pipe and PVC for all of their corrugated metal or even concrete, and they wanted a lot of companies were coming to us and said, why don't you try spray applied? And when the maintenance called, I said, well, guess what? NTPEP is currently doing a spray applied liners evaluation program. So what did we do? I'll tell you what we did. We went straight to data mine. Now, inside this spray applied liners, there's two different types. There's resin based and there's cementitious based. There's also two different types, structural and non-structural. Well, guess what? We looked at the work plan, loved it. We looked at the data, and we really got a lot of information. We decided that if we're going to do spray applied liners, we will allow the resin based and the cementitious based, but we both wanted them to meet structural values, which is definitely in the data that's in there. So what we do, see, we put the QPL together. Now, we all know as product evaluators that resin-based material and cementitious-based material are a lot of difference in cost. The resin-based materials, the way I understand it, is more suitable for cities and municipalities that need to redo sewer lines and sewer manholes and stuff like that. And it has to be completely dry. Okay, we learned this through the work plan. We learned this through the information that we got from NTPEP. Cementitious, you do not have to have it completely dry. So what we did, we accepted both, but the contractor knows what he's got to do if he uses a resin base. And guess what? We wrote a special provision. Now, that's 2019 early. That by the end of 2019, we wrote this special provision. And guess what we say? Products meeting this provision shall have been submitted and evaluated through NTPEP, and then placed on a QPL for spray applied liners. Guys, that has worked so very well. It went to contract in 2019. We got another one coming out this year. Less than 1 year on a brand new evaluated program, we said this is what we need. Our maintenance needed it. So that's how we set that up. It's worked out really well. All of our QPLs with NTPEP data are referenced in the following: the spec book, of course, special provisions, standard drawings, and even plans. You don't have to say NTPEP. Just in our situation, if it's a QPL product, QPL item, you have the procedures you have to meet. What we found out 20 years ago, maybe 25, was instead of doing supplemental specifications, instead of doing redoing the spec book every 5 or 6 years, which we do anyway, in order to change some procedures right online and at real time, we could do it with procedures on the QPL. So all QPL items have a procedure. When they're referenced in the spec book, it says must come from the department's QPL. And so that's worked out really well for us and turned out to be a big shot in the arm. Again, these are the divisions in Tennessee DOT that benefit from NTPEP. Of course, our construction, our inspectors, geotextiles alone, there's a QPL list, and the contractor brings out, this is a geotextile I want to use. It's a type so-and-so. And he goes, well, let's see if it's on the QPL. If it's not on the QPL, he does not get to use it. So maintenance, of course, we talked about spray applied liners, but we do patching materials with them, design, environmental, occupational health and safety. We're doing work zone areas and stuff like that, and of course, materials and tests. Now, let's talk about the audit program, guys. Let me tell you something. We talked about on one of the other calls, says one state said, yeah, we check everybody that's in our state, but if they're out of state, we get a quality assurance manual, we get this, we ask for calibrations. You're not visiting. You're not treating that guy out of state the same way you're treating your own in-state producers. So what we like is the fact that everybody, again, is treated the same. And there is no way that our field ops section can go out and do 80 audited facilities for anywhere near the cost of this whole program. Now remember, $20,000, I'm getting product evaluations and I'm getting audited programs. And we took this completely away from our field ops sections on these products that are shown, except for the Portland blended cement. I threw that in there because it is a product evaluation program. We're going to treat it sort of as an audit program. You don't make it here, you don't even get to come to this place, that type thing. So, but everything else has been widely accepted. We were getting bridge bearing pads from a company in Knoxville, Tennessee that got their material from somewhere in Canada. This is how this works. And we wrote the procedure saying we will not accept or do in-house testing on this, and you got to go through the NTPEP audited program. They called that supplier in Canada. Canada calls NTPEP. Now they're involved, and everything is good. See how things work? When everybody plays the same game, that's how that works. What we do is we look at the protocol that's in, and this happens to be steel welded wire reinforcement. Take a look at these audit reports, guys. They're covering so much. And guess why they cover so much? Because you told them to. We all put our input in on this. Size and type material, certifications and test results, quality management system, and equipment calibration and standardization checking. That is huge. And guess what? If a manufacturer is not participating in this, there's probably a reason why. Just like that third-party testing we talked earlier. Okay, so guess what? What happens? When they do this, they get a certificate where they're good to go. What we do is we check the certificate, of course. We look at the report, and if they had some deficiencies, they have to correct. You will not get this certificate unless you correct them, and so when they're corrected, they get a certificate. And what do? We go to our producer list. Our producer list is for contractors in the state of Tennessee doing business on certain products or materials they have to get from this producer list. So what happens? The producer list has all the concrete reinforcement or anything, all the requirements. It says that we're going to use the NTPEP audit program. We're going to review the NTPEP audit report along with corrective actions. And in order to remain on that product producer list, you got to annually submit to the NTPEP audit report. This has worked out so well over the last 2 to 3 years. So we're really excited. And then they're placed on a list for our contractors to go. If I want to get some steel from somewhere, these are the places where I can get it for a state of Tennessee project. Now let's talk about Appel or Upcube for a little bit. I am on this committee. I can name 2 or 3 products that you see on your on that page right there to the right that we actually asked if they would go through Appel, and that they may not be on a QPL because really Appel is for products that don't necessarily exactly fit the NTPEP program, but it gives a supplier or manufacturer an out to go and get his product looked at and send it out to the other states. And as I said, we'll write an approval letter. We may not go on a QPL, but they can be used in certain areas. DOT product evaluations, I have used this over the years a whole lot. A lot of these states, and you guys, I'm talking about you guys, y'all do a lot of good work. You are experts in your field. So this is what you do, and you put it online, and you put yourself out there, and we take a look at a lot of this stuff and say, wow, that's pretty good. I didn't even think about this. I didn't think about that. Well, guess what? You guys are the experts. That's why I like going and looking and seeing what's going on, especially if I know something's been evaluated by another DOT, and that same manufacturer or supplier comes in and says, oh, we can do this, we can do that. I'll go back and check them. Usually the DOT that done the evaluation say, well, that's not quite right, or yeah, you're dead on. State proprietary products, that stuff's changed. Of course, you know the CFR is gone. We still kind of do the CFR. We took all the federal wording out. And so we still we kind of still follow the CFR because we like keeping up with it per project. We like keeping up with it based on a certification, public interest find, or anything like that. So we still kind of do it. We just took all the federal stuff out. Now, this is what I showed my CEO when he comes to learn about everything that we do. I said $20,000 annually. Guess what, guys? When I showed you those 4 people in the research and product evaluation, that $20,000 annually is less than 1 month of salary for that section. So the commissioner's looking at me like, wait a minute, half of the QPL is done by less than 1 month of your salary? I said, yes, but that lets us concentrate on a lot of other things. And he's laughing because he knows that we put something in place that saved the department money. And he looks me dead in the eye. He goes, well, Mr. Lane, that's a no-brainer. I said, yes, sir, it is. So I feel really good. I look really good in my state by saving our state money, and we get to concentrate the time we spend on doing these product evaluations. We get to spend time looking at other things to do and improving our own state. So we're really excited about it. We believe in it and have a lot of good experience with it.